Ah, love. I mean, it's the stuff of poems and songs, right? It feels like this pure, unexplainable magic. But what if it isn't? What if underneath all that magic, there are some really fascinating and honestly kind of strange psychological wires pulling the strings? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. Let's break down the psychology of love.
Okay, so how long does it take for all that to, kick in? A month? A couple of dates? Well, according to the psychologist we're looking at, you might want to check your watch. Get this, it can take as little as 2 to 4 minutes. Just 2 to 4 minutes to make a strong enough impression on someone that you could actually fall for them. I mean, that's it. That's less time than it takes to listen to your favorite song.
Okay, so what in the world is happening in those first few minutes? What's actually triggering that initial spark? Well, let me tell you, it's probably not what you think. So let's get into the science of attraction. So this is where it gets kind of wild. Some of these triggers for attraction are super counterintuitive. Like, for example, you're actually more likely to fall for someone if you meet them in a dangerous situation. Yeah, think a shaky bridge, not some quiet coffee shop. It's this thing called misattribution of arousal. Basically, your brain gets all that adrenaline pumping and, well, it mistakes the fear for attraction. Crazy, right? And then you've got frequent eye contact, which can build a really powerful connection. Oh, and here's a good one. It turns out we're totally wired to like people who like us first. Just finding out someone has a crush on you can be enough to spark your own feelings. And yeah, while we all say personality is key, the sources are clear. A lot of the time, that initial spark really does start with physical attraction.
And speaking of nonverbal stuff, our source points out this really interesting, though, it's a generalization, observation about flirting. It suggests that when a guy likes a girl, he'll hold her gaze, right? Look her right in the eye. But when a girl likes a guy, she'll often look away. It's this subtle little dance of approach and retreat, and it's all happening before anyone even says a word.
Okay, so the spark's been lit. But how do we get from that little flicker of, hey, they're cute, to that full-blown, can't eat, can't sleep, head over heels kind of love? Well, this is where your brain's chemistry department takes over.
We've all heard the phrase, right? Love is blind. Well, it turns out it's literally true. Psychologically speaking, when you're falling for someone, it doesn't matter what your friends say. In your eyes, that person is just perfect. The source material says we genuinely start overlooking their flaws. It's like the part of our brain that's in charge of judgment just decides to take a little nap.
And hey, if you thought being love blind was a little strange, you might want to sit down for this one. You know that beautiful, poetic, amazing feeling of falling in love? Yeah. Biochemically, it's basically the same as having a severe case of OCD. No, I'm not kidding. Researchers found that people who are newly in love have way lower levels of serotonin, which is the exact same chemical signature they find in people with obsessive-compulsive disorder. So when you feel like you can't stop thinking about them, yeah, that's not just you being romantic. It's your brain chemistry doing something really, really weird.
All right, here's something that's probably going to flip a common stereotype right on its head. You know how pop culture always shows women as being the first to catch feelings? Well, the data we're looking at suggests it's actually the opposite. Men tend to fall in love faster, and they're usually the first ones to say, I love you. And just as the highs are chemically real, the lows are physically real too. That feeling of a broken heart, it's not just a metaphor in a sad song. Broken heart syndrome is a real documented medical condition. Intense emotional stress, like from a really bad breakup, can cause actual physical pain in your heart. It's just a powerful reminder of how deeply our emotions and our bodies are connected when it comes to love. But look, love isn't just about that chaotic, crazy whirlwind at the beginning. That's just the start. So what about the long haul? What are the secrets to building a bond that actually lasts? Let's get into that. So according to our sources, it really boils down to 3 core pillars. First up, laughter. Simple, right? Couples who genuinely laugh together just have stronger, more fulfilling relationships. Pillar number 2 is honesty. The kind of relationship where you can truly tell each other anything and everything. No secrets, no lies. And finally, the big one, trust. Because without it, as the source says, there's really no reason to even continue.
Here's a fun little physical cue you can look for, a sign of a really deep connection. The source gives this one small detail. If someone truly loves you, their hugs will probably last 5 seconds or more. It's not a long time, but it's that extra little moment of holding on that signals something deeper. A small thing for sure, but it can say a whole lot. And this might be the most important rule of them all. A healthy relationship will never require you to sacrifice your friends, your dreams, or your dignity. It's supposed to add to your life, not take away from it.
It should be a partnership that protects and supports who you are, not one that asks you to give pieces of yourself away.
Of course, knowing what a healthy relationship looks like also means you have to be able to spot when one is going wrong. So now we have to talk about the other side of the coin, the warning signs. The red flags that show a relationship isn't just going through a tough patch, but is actually becoming damaging.
And the sources are crystal clear about what to look for. One big red flag: someone who tries to stay in your life but refuses to change. They teach you to confuse pain with love. They make you doubt yourself, little by little. And that classic move where they can never admit they're wrong and somehow everything ends up being your fault, huge red flag. And it's not always just emotional either. Financial dishonesty, like hiding debt or secret spending, that's another massive warning sign.
You know, there's a quote from the source material that I think just captures this whole thing perfectly. It says, "The wrong person will find you in peace and leave you in pieces. The right person will find you in pieces and lead you to peace." Wow. I mean, the impacts they have on your inner world, it really says it all, doesn't it?
So as we bring this all to a close, it really boils down to one single powerful question you have to ask yourself. A relationship is supposed to be a safe haven, right? A place of peace. So, is yours? Or has it become just another battle you have to fight day in and day out? The answer to that question, well, it tells you everything you need to know.